Good evening. Many Face, we back. Right now, just got finished eating. Was listening to some interesting videos earlier, and it makes you think, man. And like last night or this morning, people may have gotten the video, but I posted a video. It was probably hard to hear because I was outside, air conditioner was running, and I was kind of like right next to it from the balcony, so you can hear the air conditioner in the background, so it kind of muffled a lot of what I was saying. But yeah, man, I was listening to some interesting stuff today, and I wonder, if a lot of us ever heard of peonage. Debt peonage is pretty much forced labor. You look up the definition for yourself, but it's like, I guess some examples of it is, working off of debt. Things like sex trafficking. I saw when I was looking up like examples, trafficking, anything that's a debt that you really can't pay and you're forced to work is, pretty much what it is. And it seems like our people post-slavery or post-1867 suffered from that all the way up to like the 1940s, where, particularly in the South, where they found a way to, get us to do labor pretty much for free, pretty much as a slave. It's pretty foul, man. There's some evil people out here, and so they would a couple of examples they gave was like they would arrest people, they would arrest people for bullshit charges, minor charges, trump up charges, and the fines and court fees and things or whatever they couldn't pay, they were forced to work it off. And sometimes employers or people would buy these debts from them and force them to work. However that worked out, but that was some of the stuff that I was gathering, and I'm like, damn, that's foul, man. And some people who couldn't really pay a lot of that stuff back, who fines are so hefty, and their debt was too hefty, they just ended up working for free. You had people that couldn't afford to buy certain things, and somebody would loan them and they had to pay that back. So they found ways to get labor out of us, man. They found ways to benefit us, man. Then I was looking at something else, and they were talking about the indigenous people here, and this is what like the brothers like Dan Calloway and others are trying to get us to understand is we've been distracted, and everything in the book for them to keep their foot on our neck. You know, it's crazy. Their foot's been on our neck for a long, long time, man. We need to start looking at these treaties, man. And God said something interesting earlier. He was like, you know, treaties are not something that the government just gave us because they felt sorry for us. Treaties are agreements, things like that. And then as I'm listening to it, I'm like, damn, this is what the brother Dane Calloway and others are talking about, or the ones that do know. And they're like, hey, man, you know, and you know, we can get our land back if we wanted to. Now, I still feel like we've allowed too much to happen to just get it back like that. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think there's gonna be some bloodshed before these people give up, you know, their territories and their lands. You know, you have people that, like I said yesterday, that work hard, you know, to establish themselves, people that, you know, feel entitled. You have the government, you have the CIA, you have the FBI, you know, they're not just gonna give up. You know how much money they're gonna lose, how much families will suffer, and where are they gonna go? You know, and, you know, it's just not gonna be that easy. That's what I think. I think that, you know, the information that is being told to us is right, and you know, I just don't think it's going to be an easy task. But when we look at some of them treaties, I want to know who signed them treaties. Who, you know, you want to know who are they representing? Were they really representing, you know, the indigenous? And then some of those treaties were like, you know, states that, you know, that allow the United States to occupy, you know, these territories in exchange for cash. But at the same time, you know, we look at these reservations and be like, well, why are they, some of these people are poor, they're on drugs, you know, they really don't have access to nothing unless they give up, you know, what they have, and then give up what you have, which is, you know, your status. You know what I'm saying? They'll become, you know, then they'll probably have an opportunity. Some of them probably don't want to be sellouts, or some of them, you know, they may do that and then don't have a pot to piss in or none of that. Like, no identification, really, no education. A lot of them, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot going on with that. And only, you know, I want to know, like, only a handful people will prosper, but I want to know, like, how they, you know, we made some bad decisions as people. The influence, man. This is what I talk about of predating before these motherfuckers got here. Before they got here, what was going on over there? You know what I'm saying? We focus on here, but what was going on over there? Why did y'all get over here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I personally think that a lot of the stories that they tell us are made up, fabricated fairy tales, just like I think a lot of people are paid actors. A lot of people that we look up to, a lot of people like on TV we see, they're paid actors, man. Musicians, these anchors, these sports people, these sports anchors, a lot of our, you know, regular actors, a lot of our leaders. I think these dudes be paid actors, man. Um, but anyway, you know, if you gotta understand, if you had a lot going on before 1492, because allegedly you had the Muslims or the North African Muslims running Spain for over 700 years. You had the Crusades going on. So you had Spain caught in the middle. You had France right there. You had Portugal right there. These countries were over here like crazy. But we know that when Spain was controlled by Muslims and the North African Muslims alleged that they had education, was crazy. They had colleges, they had running water. They had a lot of things that they erased from history. It's like they're trying to erase. They want to keep their foot on our necks. And our stuff has been erased. Anything that tries to show and establish any dominance is erased. And I think they tried to erase that history over there too. But I believe that, like I said last night, I don't think Columbus, that story of him getting lost, I don't know, it's just, because we really, I think he was a spy, and I think he came here to witness what the hell was going on. Because I feel like if these people had control of that land for 700 years, and the same year y'all get y'all independence is the same year y'all start sailing seas, why did you sail the seas? Oh, we were going to India, or we were going to, how did you know about India? And somebody would have had to show you, navigate you to get there, because how would you have gotten there? How long was it going to take you to get there? What were you trading to get there? And once you got there, like, were the Arabs or the Ottomans, raiding ships or something like that? Why did y'all choose to take the Atlantic and try to go around instead of cutting through the Mediterranean and all of that? Or, because this is just my opinion, I didn't live in them times and I don't have the evidence, but I'm just stating my opinion. I think that people been traveling over here. I think that maybe some of them Northern Africans or whatever, who probably, were trading and, knew a lot of these routes, were coming over here. And I think that they probably used some of them people as slaves. And I think that once they got their independence, the people that knew about these voyages probably wanted in on the voyage, and probably was like, you know what's going on over there? I know some riches over there, gold, new territory over there. We want in. And I think that they use some of the people, that look like us to get here. And because you got to think, when they got here, how did you communicate with people? How did you know about coral reefs and about the water, to navigate through the water? How much food did you have? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think once they got here, that's when they started finding these little passageways to get through around those coral reefs. I think that when they got here, they were introduced and, began trading their, and began trading with the people here or whatever. And I think there was some mediators along the way who probably viewed them, you know, as outsiders, obviously, but, you know, probably didn't trust them people, but they trusted the people that looked like us. And I think they were betrayed by greed, not just by the people that brought them here, but I think by their own people. The greed set in. A lot of interracial relationships were happening. This is my personal opinion. Because now you look at the situation, it's like, all right, Spain had a lot of, Spain has a lot of influence on this side of the world with Latin America. Then you have France, they have a lot of influence over here. And Portugal, now think about it, those countries start coming over here before Great Britain and all of them started coming. You had, these other countries that were established here as well, they started coming. So I think that once he came back, because you gotta think, if he was lost, how you get back? Somebody navigated you back here. So I think he had help, just my opinion. And I think when he got here, he had help communicating with the people. And they gained their trust, and then I believe they used religion, the church. You gotta remember, these people, a lot of those people, when you start looking in the regions, a lot of these people came to those Middle Eastern areas and Northern African and Eastern African areas, and plus you had the Romans, you had the Greeks, things like that. I think that they knew they had to adopt religions in order to get, political strength and stay relevant within the governments and things like that, so that they weren't just treated as outcasts. So I think that they took a lot of these ways of life, these religions, rewrote it their way, practiced it their way, and enforced it on the people their way. And spread it throughout the land and modified it so that people would accept it. And this is how they get the control. Just my opinion. But I was, it's also, in the video I was watching, it was talking about how, even some of the indigenous people over time would be in debt to some of the settlers here, and because they didn't have money or things like that, a lot of the resources that were valuable to the settlers, they ended up giving up land. And this is how they started expanding. But I feel like we allowed this shit to go so far that now they have established government, they have established states, they have pushed, people. And then you gotta look at the gatekeepers, the paid actors, the gatekeepers, which are the people that replaced us as, indigenous, right? Or act like they don't want to recognize us as indigenous, because, they're put there, and, and you ever notice the faces in these countries, right, that, have a mixture of people. You never see people that look like me running them, even on the reservations. Something's not right here, but yet we're all over, and then they're telling us we're from Africa. All these distractions, these stories, distractions, television, paid actors, these shits is distractions, man. And even with our gangs are a form of organization and brotherhood, but we are, we've been infiltrated every which way we can to destroy each other and to keep us down, and they keep their foot on our necks. And it's just, what are we going to do, man? Because we can keep talking, but, we got to stop looking for leaders, and I believe we got to start being our own leaders. And just take care of your own, educate your people, man, because they get us through the kids. And as long as they can reach our kids, they will keep controlling our minds. We have to educate our households on who we are, what our capabilities are. And we need to establish, self-confidence. And because when I was writing my book that I never finished, I was talking about that. They teach us in school all our leaders were killed and we were just weak people, like we just was getting beat. I don't believe none of that shit, man. I believe that we fought back. We just was outgunned. We allowed ourselves to be put in a vulnerable state, mentally and physically. And to break the chains, you gotta break them mentally. Because if you free your mind, you'll see the bigger picture. But if our minds are entrapped, we're not gonna break through the chains. So I feel like if we can start individually educating ourselves and don't let them destroy our history no more, we can begin to fix. I think it's going to take some time. It ain't going to happen overnight, but it may take some time for us to rebuild. And this ain't even just a black thing or a brown thing, or it ain't about just our people, because there's a lot of people who unconsciously benefited from what the government has done. It's not about the race of people, it's the government that they're not, I don't want to say not our enemy, but it's a lot of the things that have been done were done by government. Done by bankers, done by churches and people that run these churches and things like that. So it ain't just a race. They use race as a means of separation to keep us separated. But they still hide behind, like they hide behind legislation and race, all of this shit, and status, and they keeping us down. We got to come out of it. That being said, man, I'm gonna get ready to clock up out of work. I was on my break. I'll get back with you brothers later. This is Many Face Publishing, man. And go get my book, Two-Face, Rise of a Menace. You can also get my book, Good Friday, Horror Joint, short story about a slasher who was autistic. Who like, gruesome stabbings and heartless killings. That's the book for you. If you like Two-Face, if you like a story about a brother who starts off in the streets and then becomes an entrepreneur and becomes a face of a community, but has a dark side, that's the book for you to read, man. And I also have a book that's on, I think it's an ebook. I haven't printed out any books yet, called Secrets of Deception, but you can download it from Amazon. Secrets of Deception is a book about conspiracy of a undercover agent who was looking for a terrorist. Y'all need to check that out. Short story as well, action packed. Anyways, man, I'm gone, man. Many Face Publishing. I'll see you guys later. Peace.